Hello, anybody, somebody, nobody, whoever may never see this. This is Siegfried Alexander Faust, the Whiff. Come back at you with some more Warhammer 40k. I'm gonna be recording this quick video before I go to work. I had some good news recently. Times are still gonna be tough for a little bit, but my life might turn around next week. I'm really hoping. So that's gonna be really great if that happens. I'll probably cry because I'll be so happy. With that said, I'll probably, if that goes through, get more free time to go back to gaming, but we will see. I wanted to get this video in because it's like the tail end of ninth, and I don't think things are going to change, or at least drastically enough to make a difference. So this is going to be what I think are the top 5 current armies in Warhammer 40k. So without further ado, and I had caps lock on, so this looks like a chocolate typed it. Controversial choice. I think Thousand Sons are in the 5th spot. At least this army. I haven't played with this one dude who made this, but this is still just disgusting to go against. I would hate to deal with this. I'm going to have some stuff that's not on these top 5 lists. I think a bit of that is skill issue, matchmaking, and terrain placement. So these armies can mitigate most of that and still just be insane. So the Thousand Sons, it's Cold Duplicity. This is again these are all armies that are on my mod list for people to check out. It's I think Magic's more fun, and there's other cool stuff, but Duplicity is just so good. It kind of makes me think of Necrons because I, for some reason, feel hypocritical because I don't mind the pre-game move all OBSEC Necrons, like always do it, but for some reason Duplicity rubs me the wrong way. So this is a pretty strong list. You got your mortal wounds, you got auto hitting, range, soaking, OBSEC, decent invuls, hard hitting stuff, light hitting, and you have a lot of screening potential. The list is just overall good. Yes, it gives up 6 for bring it down, and then it gives up 15 for assassination. But if you've lost all your characters, you probably lost the game anyway. There's very few armies that can deal with this. Some of them are on here. I'm going to go over the armies that are popular picks that are not on my top 5 on the conclusion of my top 5. But without further ado, yeah, that's Thousand Sons. I think between them, Tyranids, and Grey Knights, spoiler, they are the best one for Mortal Wounds currently, based on point efficiency and just win rate, etc. So that's 5. Let's go to number 4. No spoilers. I believe this is number 4. Yes, Sisters of Battle. Now I have Argent here. If you're playing again, this is where it gets weird. If you're playing against a melee heavy that's like slow for some reason, then Bloody Rose is definitely better. If you're playing against something psycher heavy, then Ebon Chalice is definitely better. If you don't know what you're going against, Argent Shroud is more of a generalist list that I feel does really good. Now, something similar in this list, along with some other lists you'll see, is that I actually remove some firepower in some instances to make way for some more control for the army so it can do things. Some of these lists I do feel bad for not having one OBSEC unit because it can make it easier depending on what mission you get if you get lucky. Boy, I'd rather have kill efficiency. So I have a bias towards Argent Shroud. Being able to advance and shoot with shit tons of Melta and then rapid fire stuff is just nutty. Ephriel Stern and Quagnil are a cool little assassination unit. They usually get their point value every time. You could run Marvin Val and other combinations in this list. I've tried to make it work. This is Sisters and Tau. I've spent more time than any other army just filling with them. Third is probably maybe Custodes. I'm not sure. I think not. Just because Sisters and Tau just takes so much more compared to everything else. It's just not even fair. They're like in a league of their own for list building, I feel like. And so, yeah, the Sisters list, you could remove the Paragons and throw some other stuff in here. Boy, even without AOC, I think they're pretty good. People forget that they have double storm bolters per model, and so for a squad of 3, which is the only thing they come in, that's 12 shots, which can become 24 shots. So you can actually reasonably get 72 shots if all 3 of them are within 12 inches of their enemy, which is big funny. Yeah, I think, do I have it here? Yeah, they're hiding. So I have 2 things of Celestian Sacrosaints and Crusaders. Crusaders are actually better tanks than Celestian Sacrosaints against mortal wounds. They have, I believe, a 4-up. Oh, wait, no, they have a 5-up against mortal wounds. Yeah. So, versus the Sisters can get a free 6-up and shit. Or it's, they also just the Act of Faith or whatever, miracle shit. So, they are pretty nice. If you have the points and whatnot, you can do this. They also have a smaller base for some shenanigans. Yeah, that's Sisters. I like playing them. I think they're really good. I don't run the 6-up Seraphim. And then I run, because it's Argent, with Inferno Pistols. They move 12 inches. You can choose the +1, which means they move 13. Advance them, a low average of 3, which means they move 16. And then they have a 6-inch range. So they have a 22-inch threat range for their Inferno Pistols. And if they're within 19 of the enemy from when they start their move, then in that thing, on an average roll, below average slightly, you're going to get the +2 for the D6 for the damage output. And they have 3 throwaway bodies. I'm just a fan of that because infantry flying infantry just can make great use of breachable. And if there's 3rd story terrain, you can do some shenanigans with keeping them safe against melee armies and just be neener, can't shoot me. With that said, let's go into army number 3. Army number 3, Booty Angels. Infiltrators are so good right now. I think this list is nasty because you basically can just I think this is all one squad. I can't remember. Man, I'm gonna have to double check this. And Yellow Scribe is being weird too. That's not good. No, I might have to fix something. When but yeah, the Death Company Marines with Thunder Hammers, because they go from 3-ups to 4-ups, but then they'll get +1 to hit via the Sanguinary Ancient, I believe, or I'm thinking of something else. They're gonna get +1 to wound because Blood Angels. They're gonna get tons of extra attacks, and they're gonna reroll all hits because Dante. So they're just this disgusting little bop squad for anything that needs to just be destroyed. I forget if it's 2 things of 5 or a thing of 10. You know what? I could pull it up. Let me pull it up real quick. Blood Angels. I think it's a single thing of 10. Yeah, it is. And there's relics and stuff in here if you want to check out my list. I do run Mephiston. 1, because he's a good character killer as well. Ironically, characters that are character killers because of Quickening and Wings of Sanguinius. So he can skadoodle, whip somebody's noodle by just flying into melee range by giving himself, what is this? D3 to extra attacks, and he has his other extra attacks, his +1 to wound, all the Blood Angel bullshit. And then he can make a normal move at 12 inches, so he makes 7 and then 12, so he's moving a total of 19 inches. 19-inch move, flying breachable man. And he'll just bop somebody in melee for Vitarius. There's other funny things, like I don't have the Sanguinor here. Sanguinor is funny. He's one of the few things in the game that can deep strike into melee. I think there's like 3 things. There's Sanguinor, the Custodian Relic that lets you do that. And then there's the Yanari dude. The Yunkarn, I think. Yeah, this is just a pretty good thing. And then all the Sanguinary Guard have just freaking Inferno Pistols. You could give them the Bolter, but I prefer Melta Pistols. And so, if they get near something, they just start deleting it. And then they can just kind of daisy train out. You want to daisy train these dudes actually, because then you can get as many shots in and then possible charges. And then if you don't make the charges, the thing is you're just deleting stuff as you go, which just ain't too shabby. So round 1 to round 2, you're doing these dudes, and then round 3 onwards, it's just all of the Sanguinary Guard. Honestly, if these got nerfed, Blood Angels would be in a bad spot. But because Infiltrators just got buffed to heck right now in their value, and War Gear is just free, Blood Angels just aren't hurting at all. They're just loving it. Yeah, they're just so naughty right now. Okay, so army number 2, Iron Hands. So I have removed the Eradicators because shield. I need screening. So this army lost some damage output, but in return I have 4 Invul Blade Guard veterans that can also clap in melee. You could do Vanguard vets instead of Blade Guard. I just like the fact that they technically have mastercrafted power swords, and so it's just damage 2. I think that's the big thing. And then it's 3 wounds. And so if you want against something spooky shooting them, they're Primaris. So you can also do trans on them. I think that's just the big shtick. They're just meant to soak and stall for the first round to 2 rounds. And then if your opponent goes first, which means you're going on turn 4 of the game. I hate how people like mix up turns and rounds. Yeah. Because that way your Fire Raptors will come in and help you delete shit and take back control. If it's good for you to bring the Devastators in, do it. If not, literally don't. You can literally do nothing the first round of this army, and you will still totally come back. It's insane. Again, Infiltrators, because they're so fucking good. They have Omni Scramblers, Helix Gauntlets, Concealed Positions. Ugh, they're just so insane. I love them. Yeah, I'll never get over how good this shit is. And then last but not least, Imperial Guard. Yes, I don't have Tyranids. I don't have Leagues of Votan. I don't have Custodes. I don't have Space Elves here. I have a slight bias against the Space Elves. They're good, but their list is so weird right now, and I still think they can't beat, on average, the top 3 armies at least. And so 4 and 5 are just going to put up a fight, and on average those lists will outperform against other armies. So I think Eldar, people put them like low tier. No, those guys, like, here we go, objectively they did really good in the last tourney, last GT, so they're not shabby. But Imperial Guard is just nutty right now. Lord Solar, first cost value, his buffs it does too much. The Kazarkin Bomb is just nutty. And then the Rough Riders, just always, if they're alive, they outtrade their value like almost every time. They make their value and, or more so, double to triple outtrade if they can get into combat. And the Vanquisher Lehman Russes are cheaper, stronger, better, stronger, faster. Not faster, I think. Hammerhead tanks from Tau. They're just better in literally almost every way. The Hammerhead, because they have built-in marker lights. They don't have to earn that shit. They don't need a buff from Long Strike. And you can give them the reroll stuff as well as if you're playing Tau Sept. And they're just cheaper. And then you can give them Hunter Killer, just like the Tau can have the missile. But they have a 5-point... I think this shit literally costs 5 points. Las Cannon. You can just throw on that shit for free, basically, almost. Just basically just free Meltas. To a degree. So, that's just nutty. And then they're... unless I'm mistaken, they have more wounds than the Hammerhead. But they definitely have a better save. So, they're just... Actually, let me spawn in a Hammerhead. I'm not crazy. I'm not. No, Hammerhead is 1 more wound. But it is T7 with a 3-up. These fuckers are T8 with a 2-up. So I'll take that trade. Yeah, they are just insane. I was almost debating playing this against somebody last night, just because I wanted to just wreck somebody, because I don't want a long strung out match, because it is bullying. Like, this army is so good. So I just wanted to just, like, jump in a game as an anime protagonist and be like, I am the MC. Goodbye. Deleted. Oh, my army's pretty good. We'll fucking see. Meta! But yeah, the Tyranids, Leagues of Votann, Custodes. I love me some Custodes, but this list would shit on Custodes. One of my buddies was saying how he shit on Imperial Guard as Custodes. I'm like, they were playing Guard wrong. My immediate conclusion, they're doing it wrong. There's some stuff that's good in niche instances for every army or certain matchups, etc. You can go anti-meta if the meta is that hardcore. I always say, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Was so special summon heavy, that I just built an anti-special summon deck. And then like 90% or more of the decks I'd fight just can't do anything, which I thought was hilarious. And so, yeah, if it gets that bad back in the Harlequin OP days, then sure, you can do something to tailor Lily against them, and you'll do good. Like, it's worth considering. But I think more often than not, it's better to go generalist and just have some consideration of, can you deep strike stuff? Can your opponent deep strike stuff? Reinforcements, yes, no, where? Anything that ignores invuls, yes, no. And then special saves or no. Do you have the capability to do mortal wounds? Do you have any strength 8 damage output, be it range or melee? These are the questions that need to be asked. And so, some armies really can't even answer most of those questions, which is unfortunate. Or they're just strung out too light. So it's a big oof. But yeah, these are the top 5 armies, in my opinion, for current 40k. For tail end of 9th, we still have possibly some months before, it looks like, before 10th edition is going to come out. I saw that South Park just did a episode, or at least a clip with it, which I thought was awesome. I don't even care if they're ripping on it. It was Sisters against Black Templars, I think. My dog's been iffy. I have an upcoming interview for a much better job. Right now, I'm doing all right by all means. My current job, just feet are sore because I'm fucking fat. Not fat as nearly as much as my coworkers, which is funny, because I'm at 2 hundo, they're like 3 hundo. But yeah, I'd rather be paid a bit more for my time because of my skill sets, and it looks like that might actually be happening, which is great. I will see. But I'm still struggling for the next 2 weeks, so I'm gonna look into some selling shit on some apps, and do a D&D game tomorrow for 3 hours, and then after that, I don't know. My schedule is wonky. I won't be able to get much Warhammer in, but I would like to get a bit more before the end of 9th edition. If you like my content, like, share, and subscribe. Take care, and game on, gamers. Later. Bye. Where the hell's the end recording button?